What is the goal of Minecraft? What is the point? How do you get to the end? Well, obviously you open an end portal, go to the end dimension, fight the Ender Dragon, kill the Ender Dragon, and finally read the end credits. At this point, you're done. It's over. There's nothing left to do. Right. There is so much left to do. You have only just barely begun to play Minecraft. Now, I've been playing Minecraft a long time, so I know basically everything there is to know about... What is that? Sir, excuse me, when did they add pandas? And they roll around on the ground? What the hell is that thing? I don't like this. I don't like this. He killed me. He killed me in one hit. I had the best armor in the game, and they keep adding things. There are all these other boss fights and built-in places to explore, but there are also infinite emergent things to do. Things not specifically planned by the game developers. Think of all the things you can build. Underwater cities and automatic chicken farms and TNT cannons. And because there's always more to build, there's always more to explore. You can make up your own games to play, especially in multiplayer, from speedruns to Skyblock. You can literally build a fully functioning redstone computer and make any game you'd like, including Minecraft in Minecraft. In other words, Minecraft is an endless game, one with endless possibilities. It is open-ended. Open-endedness is the subject of this video, and we'll be using our AI agents powered by large language models to explore the concept. Welcome to another episode of Minecraft. Open-endedness is a fairly new and, I think, underappreciated branch of AI research. In fact, I think it's essential for human-level intelligence, and I know what I'm talking about because I'm a Minecraft YouTuber. Also, some folks at Google seem to agree with me, but what do they know? Open-endedness is the very human behavior of endless exploration, creativity, and invention. The idea is that there is no singular goal where, once you achieve it, you're done and have nothing left to do. You can have goals, but the highest level goals are broad and flexible and don't ever really end. Things like curiosity, play, survival, happiness, or innovation. These are all goals of a kind, but they have no final end state, and they can be satisfied in infinitely many different ways. They're also all a bit vague and difficult to define and measure by some numerical value. This is in fact a feature of open-endedness, as optimizing for metrics can be misleading, and you tend to hit an end state where you just can't improve anymore, which is not what we want. This is something of a paradox for machine learning, which usually depends on very well-defined metrics for optimization, but we will find ways around it. There is overlap with other machine learning concepts like lifelong learning and intrinsic curiosity, but open-endedness is a bit more grand, with a focus on diverse behaviors and outputs that evolve and complexify forever. An ideal algorithm would be one that literally never stops running, and yet never becomes boring. You could run it for 1,000,000 years, and it would still find ways of producing surprising novelty. My favorite example of this kind of endless algorithm is, of course, biological evolution. Think of the brilliant diversity and functionality of life. Eyes that see, wings that fly, leaves that catch light, webs that catch bugs, brains that build civilizations. Endless solutions to endless problems. After billions of years and trillions of organisms, life continues to find new, surprising ways of making a living at every possible scale and environment, all from the seemingly simple goal of survive and reproduce. Such endless complexity is what open-ended algorithms seek to replicate. Minecraft is also a perfect example of this. It's a game with no explicit goals, no last level, and no score to maximize. It has health bars and bosses and upgrade systems, but at the end of the day, you can play however you want. Now, this is true of any open-world game, or sandbox, or simulator, or, well, any game could be open-ended if you play it wrong enough. You don't have to follow the rules. You can always mess around and do something interesting that no one has ever done before. This is true of your real life too, by the way. You just have to be a bit more careful. This captures the spirit of open-endedness. It is sailing into an unknown ocean, seeking unknown treasures, rather than getting from point A to point B. So back to Minecraft. How can we apply the concept here? I have my own hacky, unscientific way of doing it, but first, let's review what these agents do. They are built to respond to user requests, and they use text commands to perform actions. For instance, if I tell it to collect dirt, it calls the collect blocks command with the arguments dirt and 10 to collect 10 dirt blocks. The raw command syntax is now exposed in chat by default, so you can actually see what the language model outputs to control bot behaviors. You too can use these commands by typing out the exact same syntax. They can also chain together commands, one after the other, where it responds not to you, but to the result of the previous command. Here it used a follow-up command to give me the dirt that it just collected. This lets it perform sequences of actions, and the cycle finishes when they don't use a command, they just output purely conversational text. Originally, we limited the number of commands that could be chained together, but we've disabled that limit, so it can now, theoretically, act endlessly. Let's ask Andy to do something more complex. Craft a wooden pickaxe starting from nothing. We're in a new area with an empty inventory. This is GPT-4o, which is pretty fast and pretty smart and pretty cheap. I don't yet have API access to GPT's new O1 reasoning system, but this is kind of the same multi-step thinking process, it's just much worse. Finally, I can automate away playing Minecraft so that I can, do my taxes or something. So he's collected some logs and crafted some planks, and made a few mistakes along the way. He's collecting more logs even though he should have enough, but he's finished. He crafts a crafting table, places it, nice, and then tries to craft more planks, again too many, and look what happened. In that last response, he didn't use a command, which means he has nothing to respond to, so he's just done acting. This is a problem. We need him to be able to act continuously, even if he fails to use commands every once in a while. So to fix this, I have added a new command called goal. I'll ask him to set a goal to craft a wooden pickaxe, and you can see he uses the new command to give himself the goal, craft a wooden pickaxe. This kicks off something that I call self-prompting, which basically makes it so that no matter what he does, he will always be prompted to continue acting. If he fails to use a command, he is sternly told, "You must use a command," and is reminded of the goal that he gave himself. He will automatically be re-prompted if he ever crashes or is interrupted by his automatic behaviors like defending himself from nearby monsters. Self-prompting only stops when he uses the end goal command, which he just did because he apparently crafted the wooden pickaxe. And as proof, he has equipped it with some difficulty. Good job, Andy. By the way, it can get very annoying when the bot just keeps yapping about stuff, so I've also added the command stfu to tell the bot to shut the f*** up. This won't interrupt its action, but it will cancel its goal, and the bot won't say anything until you talk to it again. Okay, let's give him the goal to upgrade to an iron pickaxe. And he's off to the races. So this is all very impressive, right? Well, I'm actually being a bit sneaky here. Under the hood, we give the bot examples of how to respond. Like this example, if a user says come here, then it should use the goToPlayer command. This is called few-shot learning, and it is essential to get these bots working. And, buddy? Oh god, I thought I'd fix this bug. I'll have to help him out here. Yes, these agents are still very buggy and not fully self-sufficient. Anyway, one of the examples we give it is a step-by-step guide for crafting a wooden pickaxe from scratch. So it really isn't that impressive that he crafted the wooden pick. He basically just copied exactly what we told him to do. However, we have not given him any examples of how to craft an iron pickaxe, and this is much more complicated. It requires that he first craft a stone pickaxe, and collect iron and coal, and craft a furnace, and smelt the iron. We don't give him examples for any of these things. Of course, the model is trained on ungodly amounts of text describing the game of Minecraft and the process of making an iron pick. But still, the ability to flexibly adapt his training and examples to this sort of unseen task is, I think, impressive. There's a bug where his inventory doesn't update after smelting items, so as a workaround, he automatically crashes. Oh, Mindflayer. And he did it! He got to the Iron Age, mostly by himself. I gave him a few helping hands, but I never told him directly what to do. Now equipped with the goal command, he really can act endlessly and play Minecraft forever. So let's give him a very open-ended goal. Survive forever, and beat the game of Minecraft, why not? I guess beating the game isn't particularly open-ended, but surviving forever is. This is a very difficult task, and we're going to make it worse by setting the difficulty to hard and turning on the day-night cycle. I'll manually end the goal once he dies. A lot of you have suggested asking for things like this, and I'm curious to see what he'll do, despite the fact that he is absolutely not going to beat the game. It's a dangerous world out there, Andy. I'm speeding up this footage, but I will make no cuts. For transparency's sake, I want to show all the clunkiness of Andy. I will help him out when he gets stuck, which is unfortunately quite often. As I've said before, Mindflayer is so buggy. The Pathfinder is especially annoying. There is a pretty obvious direction you could take this endless game of survival. You could simulate evolution and do some sort of genetic algorithm. Agents could be varied with different prompts that give them different personalities and behaviors. Some would probably be better at surviving than others, and you could select those, have a language model make variations to their prompts, and run the survival contest again. And hopefully you'd end up with a very robust survival agent. I imagine something like that would be extremely open-ended and produce all kinds of interesting behaviors, especially if the bots could talk to one another. Unfortunately, though, I'm not sure that would work right now, since these bots are just too buggy and unstable. Their tendency to get stuck is especially bad, and I think that would lead to a lot of wasted time and money, and I'd rather get the kinks ironed out before I really invest in large-scale simulations. This is also why I don't want to run a live stream with a bot surviving forever. Frankly, it's just kind of boring, and they need constant human supervision. But don't worry, I will be making more videos for longer survival runs with better models. Even when they don't get physically stuck, they tend to get behaviorally stuck in infinite loops. You're probably noticing it now. Andy will look around, find some nearby resource, and try to collect it, whether he needs it or not, and repeat. He's not very good at planning long-term, or setting intermediate goals, or building things when he's self-directed like this. He'll just do whatever is most immediately doable, and after a while, he'll forget what he's already done and do it again. This can make it pretty boring, which is not what we want from a truly open-ended algorithm. He tends to do better with more concrete, finite goals. What Andy is doing is a kind of inner monologue, but rather than talking to himself, he's talking to the game of Minecraft, conversing with the world by taking actions, and the world responds with the results of those actions. I should reiterate that the model does not see anything for the moment. It's all text from its perspective, though I do want to implement vision in the future. He's basically playing a text-based adventure game, but the world is actually being simulated. Language models provide a very unique asset to open-endedness because they are specifically built to handle the vagueness of natural language. This, by the way, is how I get around the need for a formal goal or an optimizable metric. You can just ask a model to do something like survive forever or do whatever you find interesting, and they can interpret that however they want. There's another great paper on this called Omni-Epic, which argues that foundation language models have captured something of the human intuition for interesting novelty. The authors leverage this to produce especially open-ended algorithms that not only solve problems, but seek out new, interesting problems to solve, at least in a few simple games. I'm also leveraging this feature of language models, and hopefully we can implement some of the ideas from these papers in the future. Well, despite the clunkiness, this is still pretty cool. Look at this little cave he's been building. Not intentionally, but who cares? It's kept him alive overnight, and he wasn't even trying. And he's crafted torches, and he's gradually acquiring more resources, even if he's not using them very wisely. He might eventually find a way to use the resources to build a house or go exploring or... oh, he sees some skeletons nearby, and he's going at them. And he died. Oh no. He went out like a champ, though. I guess the skeleton's despawned since I'm in spectator mode, and I'm just gonna stop his goal. I was hoping he'd make some armor or a sword or something like that, but 'twas not to be. Well, that was not the most impressive thing ever, but he got torches and furnaces and crafting tables. He collected a bunch of resources, and he got himself shot. I forgot to check his inventory, sorry about that, but look at his little tunnel. Again, I do want to scale this up and do it with some better models, maybe make a competition out of it. I'll get there eventually. What else can we do that's open-ended? Well, it's Minecraft, so let's build stuff. Welcome to the Void world. I've been experimenting using goals to build stuff instantly with cheats. There are some slightly eldritch things here. These builds can get very messy because the agents tend to build on top of previous structures and can destroy them, or enhance them. I am purposefully allowing that chaos in this world. So let's bring in Claude 3.5 Sonnet, arguably the best current model. Claude is very good at programming, so we should expect an impressive performance. I am giving it the goal to build a floating island castle in the sky, and to add creative, beautiful features endlessly. This is somewhat open-ended. I've given it the loose concept, but with broad creative freedom. Whoa. Cool. The ability for large language models to code is, I think, especially open-ended. To code what, exactly? Well, potentially anything. They can take vague requests and turn them into real behaviors and structures through code. And while they can't do anything you ask for, they can try to do anything you ask for. Code is such a flexible, powerful tool, so let's see what Claude gets up to. Alright, Claude, I'm gonna stop you there, and let's take a look. I don't want to overstate it, but I think this is incredible. It's got islands, spires, gardens, waterfalls, lights, the works. It even has hidden rooms, although I'm not sure that was intentional. It is certainly messy, and it's not really livable, but it's not incoherent, and I'm actually impressed by how cohesive it is. Claude seemed to be able to take into account the previous structures and incorporate those into the follow-up structures. Sort of. At some point it looks like it kind of started over and built a second island, but it worked out. It really helps that Claude did not move, so its frame of reference was always the same. In fact, in the goal prompt that it gave itself, it explicitly stated its own coordinates as a reference point, which is really clever. Well, I hope that Claude and Andy have helped provide some examples of what open-endedness can look like. I'm excited to see what future language models can do. Maybe one day they'll be able to run forever without human supervision. I am currently working on a tutorial for how to set these bots up yourself, but for now, this is the end. Goodbye.